At 30,000 feet above the darkened Earth, the passenger airplane moved smoothly through the night sky, its engines humming like a steady heartbeat as hundreds of travelers slept, read, or stared blankly out the windows at endless blackness. It was a routine international flight, the kind that happens thousands of times a day, where nothing unexpected is supposed to occur. The cabin lights were dimmed, seatbelt signs were off, and the calm atmosphere gave everyone a false sense of safety. No one noticed the brief flicker in the overhead lights, or the faint vibration that rippled through the floor like something heavy had shifted deep inside the aircraft S-body. Minutes later, a low metallic scraping echoed faintly through the fuselage, almost masked by the roar of the engines. A few passengers stirred uneasily, blaming turbulence or imagination, but the sound returned, slower this time, deliberate, as if claws were dragging along the inner walls of the plane. In the cockpit, a warning light blinked on and off before disappearing, leaving the pilots exchanging confused glances. The radar briefly showed an unidentified distortion near the aircraft, then cleared, as if nothing had ever been there. High above the clouds, something impossible had already begun its hunt. As the plane continued forward, the temperature in the cabin dropped slightly, enough for some passengers to pull blankets tighter around themselves. A flight attendant, walking toward the rear galley, heard a strange breathing sound coming from behind a sealed maintenance panel. She paused, her heart pounding, convincing herself it was air pressure or faulty ventilation. When she reached out to touch the panel, it suddenly bowed outward, denting under immense force from the inside. She stumbled backward just as the metal split open with a screech that sliced through the cabin ESCOM. From the darkness emerged a figure unlike anything Humina, tall, thin creature with elongated limbs, glossy skin reflecting the dim emergency lights, and eyes that glowed faintly with cold intelligence. It moved silently, unnaturally, clinging to the walls and ceiling as if gravity meant nothing. Before the attendant could scream, the creature vanished into the ventilation system, leaving behind twisted metal and the unmistakable feeling that the aircraft was no longer under human control. The crew tried to keep passengers calm as unexplained system failures began cascading through the plane. Communication flickered, navigation systems glitched, and the autopilot disengaged without warning. In the cabin, whispers of fear spread as people sensed something was wrong, even if they didn't yet understand what. Children began to cry, adults tightened their grips on armrests, and an unspoken dread settled over everyone on board. Suddenly, the lights went out completely, plunging the cabin into darkness. A heartbeat later, emergency lights snapped on, casting eerie shadows across terrified faces. That was when the alien revealed itself. It dropped from the ceiling with terrifying speed, landing in the aisle with a heavy thud that shook the aircraft. Screams erupted as passengers scrambled in their seats, some frozen in terror, others desperately trying to move away despite having nowhere to go. The creature's presence felt overwhelming, as if the air itself had grown heavy with fear. Alarms blared as the alien attacked critical systems, tearing through wiring and panels with ease. The plane shuddered violently, and oxygen masks fell from the ceiling as cabin pressure dropped. The roar of rushing air mixed with human screams, creating chaos unlike anything the passengers had ever experienced. At 30,000 feet, the realization hit hard there was no escape, no rescue, and no safe place to hide. In the cockpit, the pilots fought desperately to regain control as warning after warning filled their screens. Engines fluctuated, fuel systems reported leaks, and the aircraft began a slow, uncontrolled descent. Air traffic control called repeatedly, receiving only broken transmissions in response. The pilots had no idea that the alien was learning, watching how humans reacted, adapting its attacks to maximize fear and destruction. Amid the chaos, a small group of crew members and passengers found the courage to act. Armed with fire extinguishers, emergency tools, and sheer desperation, they moved cautiously through the shaking cabin. Every shadow felt alive, every sound sent pulses of fear through their bodies. When the alien struck again, it did so with brutal force, injuring one of them and slamming bodies against the walls as if they weighed nothing. Even wounded, the creature grew more aggressive, its movements faster, its intelligence terrifyingly clear. The plane plunged lower, alarms screaming nonstop as fuel warnings flashed red. Turbulence tossed the aircraft violently, making it difficult to stand, let alone fight. Passengers prayed, cried, and clutched loved ones as the sky outside turned from black to deep blue. With time running out, the survivors realized they had only one chance to use the aircraft itself as a weapon. They devised a desperate plan, luring the alien toward a rear service hatch while coordinating with the pilots for controlled decompression. It was a risk that could destroy the plane, but there was no other option. As the creature advanced, drawn by movement and noise, the cabin shook violently, metal groaning under stress. At the exact moment, the hatch was forced open, and the cabin exploded with deafening wind. The pressure difference created a powerful suction, dragging loose objects, luggage, and screaming air toward the opening. The alien fought against the force, claws digging into the floor, shrieking in a sound that echoed painfully through the cabin. With one final surge, it was torn free, sucked out into the freezing void, vanishing into the darkness thousands of feet above the earth. The sudden silence was almost unbearable. The plane, heavily damaged but still flying, struggled to stabilize as the pilots fought to maintain control. Injured passengers lay scattered, the cabin scarred and broken, but the immediate threat was gone. Slowly, painfully, the aircraft descended toward an emergency landing, guided by flickering instruments and exhausted hands. When the plane finally touched down, emergency crews surrounded it within seconds. Survivors were rushed away, questioned, and warned not to speak. Official reports later blamed the incident on mechanical failure, severe turbulence, and mass panic. No mention was made of torn metal from the inside, unexplained footage, or the creature that should not exist. Yet those who were there know the truth. They remember the glowing eyes in the dark, the intelligence behind the violence, and the feeling that humanity had encountered something far beyond its understanding. The skies may appear calm from the ground, but high above us, at 30,000 feet, the unknown still waits, reminding us that we are never truly alone.